Hands are below your shoulders. Spine is nice and long. Belly button draws in tight. Hips are above the knees. Tuck your toes into the mat. When your inhale comes, drop your belly, lift your hips, look up. And then exhale, push your hips forward, look behind you. So just moving through some simple cat-cow. You want to really exaggerate the movement so that when you're in cow pose and you're arching the spine, you feel a really nice stretch in the torso, and you can almost feel your vertebrae tapping against each other. And then the opposite for cat pose, you want to feel your abs contracting, almost like you're in the hold of a crunch, and then you should feel your spine really separating. Go through about 2 more. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Last one, inhale. And then exhale. From your tabletop position, just stretch your right toes to the back edge of your mat, pressing into the ball bend of your back foot, and gently just start to rock your body weight forward and backward, feeling that nice calf stretch, Achilles heel, arch of the foot. You should also feel your quad activating here. Next time you come back, hold it there. You're going to rotate your right foot down so it's nice and flat on the mat, and then you're going to reach your right fingertips up so it's like half of a side plank, modified side plank. So balancing gets a little bit tricky here. You want to make sure your left fingertips are spread nice and wide, and your left hand is directly underneath your left shoulder. And then when you're ready, you're going to swing your right arm forward. Fingers reach for the left side of your room. If you feel stable and you want to test after balance, maybe lift the right leg up and hold it here. So we're drawing in nice and tight to that bottom left hip, belly button in tight toward the spine. Using your breath to control your stability. Hold it here for 3, 2, 1. Pause. Only your right hand is going to come back to the mat. Excuse me, 3-legged tabletop. Now your left fingertips reach forward. Here we are in bird dog. Inhale, reach forward, kick back. Exhale, knee to elbow around. Inhale. Exhale. Just warming up the core. 2 more. Inhale, reach long. Exhale, pull it in. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Come on back to your tabletop. Just take a cat-cow or 2. Let that go. And then come on back to a neutral spine. Other side. Take your left toes to the back edge of your mat. And just start to rock your body weight forward and backward. Next time you come back, hold it there. You're going to spin the left heel down now. Make sure your right hand is directly underneath your shoulder. Fingers are spread wide. And then inhale, left fingertips up toward the ceiling. So you want there to be a direct line between both of your arms, reaching all the way through your left middle fingernail. So nice active reach. If this is enough, absolutely stay. Option 2 is to swing your left arm forward so it's reaching up overhead. And then maybe if you want to take it to this next variation, lift your left leg up off the ground. Don't point the toe, flex the foot like there's a wall and you're stomping on it. Shaking is okay, holding your breath is not. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Pause for a second. Only your left hand comes back to the mat. Left leg still stays nice and firm off the mat. Find your stability, and then right fingertips reach forward. Inhale, reach forward, kick back. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, get long. Exhale, pull it in. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one, inhale. And exhale, let that go. Just take a quick child's pose. Sinking your seat or your butt back to your heels. Placing your forehead on the mat. Reaching your fingertips as far forward as you can. If at any point in class something feels uncomfortable, this is a great place to come to if you need that extra little break. When you're ready, you're going to press your hands firmly into the mat. Shift up and out, back to your tabletop. Tuck your toes into the mat and then shift your hips up and back for your first downward facing dog. So first down dog might feel a little stiff. You can take whatever movements you need to feel a little bit better here. Bend the knees, bicycle out the legs, nod your head yes, shake it no. And then push your chest back towards your thighs. Hold for 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. As you exhale, you're going to drop down to your tabletop position. So we're going to play with plank a little bit to nail out that downward dog. Tuck your right toes back. Tuck your left toes back, plank pose. Without moving your hands or your feet, hips come all the way up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward, plank. Exhale, down dog. Your right hand will tap your left shin. Right hand comes back. Inhale, plank. Exhale, back, down dog. Left hand to right shin. Left hand back to the mat. Inhale, plank. Hold as you plank. Exhale. Inhale again. Exhale, back, downward facing dog. From your down dog, you're gonna bend your knees, walk your hands back towards your feet. Keep as much of a bend in the knees as you can. When you get to the back of the mat, inhale, press your hands into your shins, flatten out the back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, carefully roll up one vertebrae at a time, and exhale at the top. So coming to the top of your mat, inhale, lift up, palms meet at the top. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, hands to shins, flatten out the back. Exhale, lower. Press to the big toes. Inhale, carefully roll up one vertebrae at a time. Exhale at the top. Coming down again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hands to shins. Exhale, lower down again. This time you're going to hold on to opposite elbows here in ragdoll position. Have your ears framed by your arms. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Feel the stretch in the hamstrings and the lower back. Nod your head, yes. Shake it, no. Take another inhale. Exhale, hands around the waist. Inhale, rise up to stand. We're coming down one more time. So I mentioned this on Friday. As it starts to get warmer out, it's really important to start to be more conscious of your breath, especially when we're coming from down to up. Anytime we're down, coming up, use an inhale. That's going to help you avoid that whole rush of blood to the head, overwhelmed feeling. So we're coming down one more time. You have the option to take ragdoll again or yogi toe grip. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hands to shins, flatten out the back. Exhale, lower down. This time, make a peace sign with your index and your middle finger. Wrap them around your big toes. If you can't reach your big toes, bend your knees till you get there. Elbows spin out toward opposite sides of the room. Inhale, pull up on your toes, flatten out the back. Exhale, draw your upper body toward your lower body. So you're getting another big juicy hamstring stretch. It's a little bit deeper. Also still stretching out the lower back. Try not to look for the top of your mat. You're looking for your heels or ideally the wall behind you. That's going to keep the neck safe. Nod your head, yes. Shake it, no. Take another inhale. Exhale, hands wrap around the waist, give it a squeeze. Inhale, rise up to stand. Very good. So come back to the back of your mat. Making your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hands to shins, flatten out the back. Exhale, walk your hands forward to your plank. From your plank, you have the option just to come to downward facing dog or to move through your vinyasa. Lower down to the bottom of that push-up, hold for a split second, and then find your back bend, upward facing dog or cobra pose. And then roll over all 10 toes to come back to downward facing dog. Push your chest back toward your thighs. And you should feel your shoulders lift up and your spine sink down. Take about 3 more breaths here. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Inhale, fill up. Exhale out. Take 1 more inhale. As you exhale, bend your knees deeply, look forward. Inhale, walk your feet up to your hands, hands to shins, flatten out the back. And exhale, lower down. Inhale, roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Exhale at the top, coming down again. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, hands to shins, flatten out the back. Exhale, lower down, plant the hands, step back to your plank, taking whatever variation you wish. If you're moving through, coming to upward facing dog, and then rolling back to downward facing dog. 5 breaths here, and child's pose is always an option. Please remember that. Your gaze is ideally at the wall behind you. Or if we're speaking really technically, it should be at your belly button, but whichever is more comfortable for your neck. No matter what, I don't want you looking for your hands. That's going to strain you too much. Take one more inhale, fill up all the way. And then as you exhale, you're going to drop down to your tabletop position. So you're going to want to have your blocks or your supports nearby. I'm just going to flip my view around so you have a better understanding. And we're going to be spending quite a bit of time with tabletop being our neutral. So if you have sensitive knees, now's a good time to have your blanket or your pillows nearby. Okay, so tabletop position. Beginning on the right side, you're going to tuck your right toes to the back edge of your mat and just rock your body weight forward and backward again, just like we did earlier. So from the side, this is what we're looking like. You're going to lift your right leg up, cross it over your left. So you're sort of pressing into the pinky toe edge of your foot, and then you're dipping your hips to the right. Your right leg is over your left. You're shifting your body weight to the right. You should feel a tug in the right hip. One more inhale. As you exhale, use your core strength to lift that right leg back up and then send it out to the right. So now you're pressing into the big toe mound of your foot. The sole of the foot is off of the floor, and we have a direct connection between the hip and the heel here. So big inner thigh stretch. If you are a runner or a cyclist, or if you have tight hips, this is a great stretch to really incorporate into your daily routine. You can stay here on your hands or drop down to your forearms. If you find yourself where you can have one hand down, but you can't get one forearm down, I'd rather you come up onto your hands, or here's a great opportunity to use your blocks. Whenever we deepen a posture, you want to make sure that both your right and left side are in an equal stance, because that will ultimately lead to like an imbalance after class, and we don't want to do that. So your left hip stays up nice and high above the left knee, but if you want to intensify this, you're shifting your body weight backwards. So you should feel a pretty good stretch here on the inside of your thigh or your adductor muscle. Hold for one more inhale. As you exhale, gently come back into your hands. So you're all going to stay as you are on your mat. I'm just going to switch my view for you. So right leg is out. However you can get it there, I want you to bring your right foot in between your hands. Hands frame it. If you take a look down, your knee and your ankle should be in one straight line. Curl your left toes into the mat. Come on off your left knee. Shimmy your left leg as far back as you can get it. When you cannot get it any longer, drop that left knee down. And then you're going to drop your hands to the inside of your right leg. So here we are in lizard pose. In lizard pose, I want you to connect your right arm and your right leg with each other. And then just gently start to rock your body weight forward and backward. Couple of things you should be feeling. You should feel like a lengthening sensation in the left hip and a pinching sensation in the right hip. So if this is enough of a stretch for you, absolutely stay. If you want to intensify, you've got a couple of options. If you have a block, your block has many heights. We have baby bear, mama bear, papa bear. Choose whichever one is most appropriate for you, and then you can ultimately lower down a little bit more. So when we say intensify, I don't want you to be in a position where you are struggling to exist and it hurts to even breathe. I want you to be somewhere where you can breathe comfortably. If you can't breathe into this, the pose doesn't really matter. Hold it here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're gently going to press back into your hands. You're carefully going to shift your body weight back onto that left knee. So whenever we stretch out the right hip, whenever we stretch out the hip, we always counter it with hamstring stretch. So I recommend having your blocks or your supports on either side of that right leg. And you're now going to shimmy your right heel as far forward as you can. Once your leg is nice and straight, I want you to point the foot down to the ground. See if you can touch your toes to the ground. That's going to give you a nice stretch on the top of your foot and the top of your ankle. Now I want you to really make sure your leg is straight. Shimmy your heel forward, curl your toes back toward your face. Here's that calf stretch. So even if you can touch your toes here, none of it matters unless your right knee is straight. Right knee must be absolutely straight for this stretch to work. So if you have your blocks, you can again change the height. And then once you feel comfortable with your height, shift your body weight forward, hover over that extended right leg. Hold it here and breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Maybe use your blocks to help you get back up. Put all of your body weight into the block as you drag that right knee back to meet your left, and just take a quick child's pose. Let that go. I always like to add a little bit of movement in between things just to keep the blood going. So let's shift forward back to tabletop. From your tabletop, right toes tuck back, left toes tuck back. Find your plank pose, and just take a quick vinyasa. Upward facing dog, and downward facing dog. All right, so let's drop down to a tabletop position and get ready for the other side. I'm just gonna switch my view. You can stay as you are. In your tabletop position, tuck your left toes back to the edge of your mat. Rock forward and backward. That should feel pretty good. We've been working on the calves a lot. Keep your left leg extended. Lift it up. Cross it over your right. So now the foot, you're resting on the pinky toe edge of your foot. Arms stay stick straight. Dip your hips to the left. And you should feel the stretch now in the left hip. Arms stay stick straight. And if you feel nothing, dip a little bit deeper to the left. Hold for another inhale. As you exhale, belly button comes in tight to the spine. Inhale, lift the left leg up, send it out to the left. So now we're pressing into the big toe edge of the foot. Heel and the hip are in one straight line. Option to stay on your hands. You can drop down to a block or drop all the way down to your forearms. So like I mentioned for the other side, if you can have one forearm down but one hand, well, the other forearm can't make it down, choose the higher height. You'll get there. It's a progression. Keeping your right hip nice and high. If you want to intensify this, shift your body weight backward. Hold for another inhale. Exhale out all the way, and then let's make our way back to our hands. So keep your blocks forward toward the top of the mat. I'm just going to shift my view for you again. You're going to, however you can get it there, bring your left foot up in between, or sorry, to the outside of your left hand. So hands are on the inside of your left foot. You're going to curl your right toes into the mat. Come on off your right knee. Shimmy your right leg as far back as you can get it. And then here we are now in lizard pose. Gently just start to rock your body weight forward and backward. You have a pretty good side view here when your hands are forward, so you should definitely be able to clearly see if your knee is lined up over your ankle properly. And once more, you should feel the exact same stretch, just opposite side. So like a lengthening sensation in the right hip and a pinching sensation in the left hip. Next time you come forward, hold. So plenty of options. For some of us, this is absolutely enough, not a problem, stay here. If you want to intensify, but bringing both forearms down to the ground is just too far, that's what our props are here for. Your props have 3 different heights, so choosing whichever height is most appropriate for you. So just for demonstration purposes, I'll show you the highest height on both blocks. And again, I can't stress enough, if you are so deep into a pose that it just hurts to exist, you can't even breathe, that pose means nothing for you. It's not making you a better yogi, it's not making you more flexible. You're really missing the purpose of the stretch if you're taking it to that point. So we want to be in this happy medium of sensation, maxed out sensation, never in pain. So somewhere where you can breathe fully and completely, not always comfortably, but breathing efficiently is the word I'm looking for. Hold here for one more inhale. As you exhale, you're going to gently press your way out of this, and you're going to come to stand up on that right knee for a moment. I would bring your block to your supports to either side of the left leg. And you're going to shimmy your left foot forward and now point your toes down to the ground. Feel that stretch in the top of your foot and your ankle. For some of us, it might be kind of intense. Hold it here for 3, 2, and 1. Now let's shimmy the left heel forward, forward, forward. When you can't get any straighter, curl the left toes back toward the face. Feel the stretch now in the calf and the hamstring. So if you can comfortably touch the floor here, you can totally ditch the blocks, or your blocks have different heights. But once you find that happy space, you're then just going to start to shift your body weight forward, coming over that extended leg. Breathe here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You're going to slowly start to lift the upper body up. I recommend putting all of your body weight into your props, dragging that left knee back to meet your right. And then this time, let's take a wide-legged child's pose. Let all that go. Big toes together, heels slightly apart. Sit back on your heels. Walk your body forward. Bring your head down toward the mat. If your forehead does not comfortably touch the mat, place a block underneath it. Press your fingertips into the ground so that you feel your shoulders lift up and your spine sink down. It's kind of subtle here in child's pose. Walk your fingertips to the right corner of your mat. Feel the stretch in the left side body, starting in the hip, traveling up the rib cage and stopping at the armpit. Carefully walk back through the middle of your mat over to the left side. Same deal, except now this time you feel the stretch in the right side body. And then carefully come on back to the middle of your child's pose. Shift forward to your tabletop, and let's make our way back to downward facing dog. If you want a vinyasa, go ahead and take it. You would shift forward to your plank pose, and then lower down through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Stay in your down dog for about 3 more breaths. So we did a lot of calf and hamstring stretching here. I want you to notice how that impacts your downward dog. Maybe you're able to straighten your knees a little bit more. Maybe you're able to get your heels a little bit closer to the ground, but please note, your feet are not flat in downward dog. They're always above, your heels are always above the ground. Hold for 1 more inhale. Exhale out all the way, bend the knees deeply, look forward. Inhale, walk your feet up to your hands. Hands to shins, flatten out the back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, carefully roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Okay, so pyramid pose. Again, a big hip, hamstring, calf, lower body, overall stretch. So if you have your blocks are super useful for this pose. It's a shorter stance, I'd say about half a leg's length in between your feet. What you're going to do, measure on hips width, so that's 2 fists in between your feet. We don't want to be on a tightrope here. You're going to step your right foot forward and your left foot back, about half a leg's length. Remember, we're not on a tightrope, feet are wider, hips width. Wrap your hands around your waist, give it a squeeze, roll the shoulders all the way up and back, take an inhale, elongate the torso. As you exhale, you're gonna start to lower your upper body down. Once you get to parallel, pause. If you have props, place your hands on your props. If you do not have props, I want you to keep your hands around your waist. If you want to intensify that, you would then bring your hands to your quad. Never ever your knee, but maybe you can bring your hands down to your calf. And of course, if you can reach the floor comfortably, by all means, go for it. If you have your yoga blocks, find whatever height works well for you. But ideally here in your pyramid pose, both of your legs are straight. I want you to pretend like you have a piece of paper in between your legs that you don't want to lose. So squeeze your thighs nice and tight toward each other. That's going to square the hips off to the ground. And then finally, you're going to drop the head so that you're looking for the back of your mat. So what you should be feeling, a really intense stretch in the right side, starting from your butt cheek. That little zing, that's your sciatic nerve. It's part of your lower back. You should feel the stretch starting from there, traveling down the hamstring, and continuing to about the calf. It might be intense for some of us, so golden rule, when poses get intense, use your breath to relieve it. We're just here for 3 more breaths. And in a perfect yoga world, you create so much flexibility here in this pose that your nose comfortably reaches your right shin. Maybe not today, but maybe one day. Take 1 more inhale, fill up. As you exhale, wrap your hands around your waist, give it a squeeze. Inhale, roll back up to stand, and exhale, step up to the top. Let's shake it out, switch sides. So remember, it's 2 fists in between your feet, that's hips width. This time your left foot will stay forward, right foot takes a little step backwards. There's about half a leg's distance in between both feet. Hands wrap around your waist, hips spin forward, roll the shoulders all the way up and back. Elongate the torso, take an inhale. As you exhale with a flat back, lower back down, come to parallel, pause. If you have blocks, take a moment to figure out which height is most appropriate for you. If you do not have blocks, your first stop, hands come to your quad. If this is enough, stay. If you want more, your second stop is never ever your knee, but maybe your calf. And everybody's final stop, if it's appropriate for you, hands can come to the ground. If moving your hands to a lower variation means you need to bend your front knee to accommodate that, don't go there. We want to keep this front leg, or your left leg this time, as straight as possible. So now your next adjustment, squeeze your thighs together as if there's a check for $1 million in between them. You don't want to lose it. Don't drop it. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. That's going to shift your hips down to the ground. Once you hit that activation, now drop your head so that you're looking for the back of your mat. And same stretch going on here, starting in that sciatic nerve, traveling down the back of the hamstring and through the calf. 2 more breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. Inhale, fill up, exhale out. Take another inhale, fill up all the way. Exhale out completely. Belly button draws in tight towards your spine. Let's make our way back up to standing. You're going to press firmly through both your big toes. Wrap your hands around your waist. Give it a squeeze. Belly button is super active here. Inhale, come on up to stand. Good. You can step forward, shake that out, and have your blocks toward the back of your mat this time. We're going to make our way to lie down. You're also going to want your strap toward the back of your mat too. So one more vinyasa to wrap it up this morning. Come to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift up, reach up to the top, and exhale, lower down. Inhale, hands to shins, flatten out the back. As you exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back to your plank, and lower through your vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Hold your down dog here just for 5 breaths, and take a moment here in this last down dog, compare it to your first one. Hopefully it's feeling significantly better, especially with all that lower body stuff we did today. Last 2 breaths. One more inhale. And then exhale, drop down to your knees. You're in a tabletop position. And then from your tabletop, you're going to shift onto your bottom and lower all the way down to lie down on your back. Plug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. So a couple more lower body stretches to do. You should have a strap nearby. You're going to grab your strap. Place your strap along the right foot. Give yourselves as much slack as you need to keep your right leg straight. If you need to bend your knee, that does not make you a bad person. It just means you have tight hamstrings, no worries. And as best you can, line your heel and your hip up with each other. From here, you're going to inhale, gently pull your hamstring towards your face, feel the stretch. Exhale, soften, let it go. And just move forward and backward a couple of times with your breath. So it's a really great point here to just kind of check in with yourselves, make sure you're not overdoing this stretch. It is very easy to accidentally overdo it with the hamstring. Your boundary is maximum sensation. You should never be in pain. Hold it back here, line your heel and your hip up with each other, and then make some slow circles with your heel about the size of an orange, just bringing a little bit of mobility into the hip. And then circle out the other way. Good. Pause in the middle. Grab your block or your prop. You're going to place your prop, I'd say about a foot away from your right hip. It's there in case we need it. Strap will come into the right hand. Your left arm will drop out into a T shape. Take your right leg all the way out to the right and allow it to rest on your prop. So if our bodies were like a clock, right now your head is 12 o'clock, your right leg is 9 o'clock. Left arm is 3 o'clock, left leg is 6 o'clock. If you have a prop there and you feel like you can stretch more, go for it. Try to explore it. But know that the minute that your left side starts to leave the ground, that's as far as you're going to go, because we want to keep the left side squared off to the floor so that we don't start to lose the point of the stretch. You can curl your toes towards your face for an added stretch. And then you can keep pulling your right leg closer towards your face. So maybe you can get to like 10 o'clock. That will intensify it. And this is the exact same stretch that we did from a tabletop position when I had you bring your right leg out, the heel and the hip were in one straight line, and you felt the stretch on the inside of the thigh. This is the exact same thing, except we have the strap controlling you a little bit more. Take an inhale, fill up all the way. Exhale out, belly button in tight towards your spine. Use your inhale and your core strength to bring your right leg back up to center. Now you're going to switch your grip. Strap will still stay on the right foot. You're going to take the strap with the left hand. Your right arm drops out to a T shape. If your left knee was bent, straighten your left leg. Take your right leg all the way over to the left. So if you have a wall or a staircase in the way, bump your hips out a little bit. And the closer you get your right leg to the ground on the left side, the more of an IT band stretch you're going to get. Your IT band is the outer edge of your thigh. Hold here for 2 more breaths. And the closer you get your foot to the ground, the more of an abdominal twist you're getting too. Maybe you got a crack or a pop in the spine. Those are good cracks and pops. Hold for an inhale. Exhale out all the way. Belly button in tight toward the spine. Use your inhale to bring that right leg back up. And you're going to remove the strap, let it go. So let's get ready for the other side. You're going to bring your block and your strap over to the left. I'd start with placing the block about a foot away from the hip. You're going to place the strap on the left foot now. Extend the right leg out. So same idea. If this is really intense on your hamstrings, bend your knees. It's never a problem. Gently start to shift your left leg forward and backward towards your face, getting that hamstring stretch. So remember, we never want to overdo it. Just because you're in pain does not mean that the stretch is working well for you. We want to max out sensation. Pause here in the middle, line your heel and your hip up with each other, and then draw some circles like the size of an orange with your heel. So you're not flexing around your ankle, you're actually moving the entire leg. And then switch directions of your circle. Draw one more complete one and then pause back in the middle. So now the strap will stay in the left hand. Your right arm drops out to a T shape. If you haven't done so already, lie your right leg down, extend it out to the top of the mat. And then gently begin to shift your left leg out toward the left. So again, if you have a wall that's in your way, just bump your hips out a little bit. Give yourself some more space. The prop is there. Definitely allow your leg to rest on the prop if you need it. And if you hit the prop and it doesn't really make a difference for you, remove the prop. You can go as low as you can so long as the right side of your body stays anchored into the floor. The minute that the right side of the body starts to lean over toward the left, we lose the stretch. Hold here for 2 more breaths. So if you wanted, now the left leg is out in 3 o'clock position. If you wanted to intensify it, try to shift it up towards your face, bringing it maybe to 2 o'clock position. 1 more inhale, fill up. Exhale out all the way. Draw your belly button in tight towards your spine. Use your inhale and your core strength to bring the left leg back up to neutral. So now we're still holding the strap on the left leg. You're just going to switch hands. The right hand will grab the strap. Left arm will drop out into your T shape. Take your left leg all the way over to the right. And I can demonstrate a little bit better on this side. So ideally, your left leg reaches the floor on the right side. Your left hand must stay into the mat. But if your left shoulder and your torso, definitely your left hip leave the ground, that's okay. That's going to give you a nice twist. Hold here for 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. Exhale out all the way, and then use your next inhale to bring that left leg back up. You can ditch the strap and then let it go. Hug both of your knees in towards your chest. Give yourselves a nice big squeeze. Gently rocking side to side on the lower back. And then preparing for our final pose, Shavasana. So just clearing the way of any props that might be near you, anything that might be distracting. Settling into a nice comfortable position on your mat, lying on your back. If lying on your back like this hurts your lower back, you always have the option to take Shavasana with your knees bent. And if you're bending your knees, planting your feet, you want to knock your knees together and bring your feet as wide as the mat. You'll notice that's going to completely flatten out your lower back. So maybe later if you go to the beach, hurts to lie on your back, do this little yoga pro trip. It'll make your beach experience all the more better. Anyway, Shavasana, taking a few moments to reset yourselves, separating yourselves from any thoughts, distractions, or plans. Take a big inhale through your nose. Exhale out all the way through the nose. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, let it go. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 1, 2, 3. Exhale for 3, 2, 1. Take 2 more breaths on your own. Taking a moment to notice the sense of peace and stillness that you can create for yourselves, and how all it takes is just to be more aware of your breath. If you find yourselves in a moment of stress or restlessness, anxiety, just begin breathing or counting. This isn't just for the yoga mat. Start to come back to a more natural breath. Bring some tiny movements to your body by wiggling your fingers, wiggling your toes. You can reach your arms up overhead and point your toes away, finding a nice long body stretch. And then when you're ready, hugging your knees in towards your chest one more time, giving yourselves a big squeeze. You're going to raise your right arm over your head. Your bicep will become a pillow as you carefully just roll all the way over to your right side. Take a pause, give yourselves a moment to adjust. And then when you're ready, press into your left hand. Come on back up to a seated position. And you are all done today, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dani. That was great.
Good work, everyone.
Thanks a million, Dani.
Thank you.